Okay, so I told you guys that I was going to explain a little bit about what I was talking about earlier with the whole like concept of why it's slower for us. That I think that I realized something today, that it's not about, when we say slow weight loss, I think a lot of people take it literally, like in literal terms of it's just taking my body longer to metabolize the fat and to lose the fat, the weight. That's what people usually think of when it's like the slow weight loss associated with what we do, but or what we have to deal with. But I want to explain this in a different light, and I want you guys to tell me in the chat as you watch if it's impactful or not. Okay, so I hope it's not impactful. That would suck, but be honest, I guess. But you get what I'm saying, right? Give me some feedback. So what we're doing is like a balancing act, okay? I want you to think about video games, okay? And I don't know very much about video games. So if I say things, if I say stupid terminology, just love me anyway. But don't correct me from in there. I didn't ask. Part of my quirk. So anyway, video games have different levels, and as you achieve these different levels, like you beat these levels, you achieve different things in the game, right? Like you unlock different levels, you get new weapons that are like, you know, way cooler. I don't freaking know, but you get the concept, right? It's progression because you have to go, not just that it's just taking a really long time to go to one place. The reason it's a progression and it takes long to beat the game is because you have to complete different parts of that game to get to the end. So where people who don't have hormonal issues, they do X, Y, and Z, and then it takes a period of time just for that weight to come off, right? So it's the same as being in one level and just taking a really long time to get to the end of that level and beat it, right? What we have to do is go level by friggin' level, okay? So people who don't have a hormonal problem, they have hormonal balance already. We're not just trying to achieve the like fixing our individual symptoms. We're looking to get our bodies to the same place of hormonal balance that they're at. And that's how, and you know, that they're already balanced when they start their weight loss process. So their time frame is not including the levels that we have to work through and beat in the game to get where we got to go. They're just getting through one level slowly. You know, we have a trek. So what we're doing is as each piece is in place, as we fix sleep, food, hydration, everything, that's what takes the time. So as each piece falls into place, we're getting closer and closer to the point of hormonal balance. And when we're at the point of hormonal balance is when we start seeing our symptoms decrease, and then we start seeing those results. It's not uncommon. I've had clients who go the first program, they don't lose a number on the scale, they don't lose in measurements, they feel significantly better, they learn the habits that they need to learn, and then they end up losing 40, 50, 60 pounds in the second program. And I'm not just saying that as an upsell. I'm saying that because I can't control the timing of that. Because, you know, it's not about what we're not doing correctly or enough of. It's just simply about worrying about one piece at a time instead of freaking out that we got to beat all the levels at once and then being like, oh, I didn't finish all 17 levels of this game in the time it takes this person to finish one, you know, but that person doesn't have a hormonal imbalance. So that's why, and this applies for thyroid and for PCOS, because I want to remind everyone, thyroid, you have a hormonal imbalance, and you have the hormone that's imbalanced is the thing that regulates the metabolism, and it causes inflammation. That happens with PCOS, and PCOS has its own struggles. But when I say hormonal imbalance, I'm talking about both. I'm talking about whatever the hell hormone imbalance is out of whack in your body. We have to do the different measures. And that's the part that sucks, is that there's some people who don't have to do all of those measures. But that's why we work on mentality as we're giving ourselves enough time for those levels to be beat. Does this make more sense? Like I was thinking about this as I was explaining it, and I was like, I think I'm onto something here. You know, like if it's just explained in a different way, we could understand the time frame and why it takes so much longer, why sometimes we might be up a couple pounds 1 week or 1 month, and why other times it's like, holy crap, how did I lose weight all of a sudden? It's because as we put those pieces, as we fix the puzzle, right, we get closer and closer to completing the puzzle. it's different for us in that way. It's not just taking us longer to actually metabolize the fat. It's just that we have to be in balance before we can really go gung-ho to fix the symptoms. So I hope that helped. Oh wait, I wrote something kind of profound here. Let's see, my chicken scratch. People without hormonal imbalance, they're there, they've achieved it. Now it's up to them doing the food, the exercise, those things. When we go into something with food and exercise, we think we're starting at the same mark as them, but we're not. And that is frustrating. That's why we end up having self-esteem issues and having low self-confidence, is because that is super frustrating. That why are they starting out with a lead start, But it is what it is. We have to do all of the steps, and then we focus on the weight loss and the exercise. The food and the exercise. All right. So I hope that this clarified things a little bit better for you, and you feel a little bit more confident of like, okay, I understand where my time is going now, instead of just hoping that your body's eating away at fat like at a glacial pace. I think it's better if you have an idea of like why the hell it's taken so long. So I feel you. Took me long too. So, I'm not bullshitting you on that. All right. Today's planning is not going to be so much. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to put into your planner, how to do this exactly, because I think that is really overwhelming. I think that no two people plan the same, and it's okay. A common theme in what I see just in all of my clients at different various times are the, it was here and then it was gone. Hold on. Okay. So, no, it's not back yet. I thought it was right there. I'll probably remember in 5 minutes when I'm in the middle of another sentence, but today's planning call is going to be about the concepts of planning. Oh, I remember now. So people are in this mindset of you follow the typical pattern. You follow the plan, the procedure. If you're not okay with that, if it bothers you, if for some reason it just goes against every cell in your body to follow it, it must mean that you suck, you're not disciplined. Why can't I just get this planning down? Why can't I make this stick? It always falls on us, when really I challenge you to think differently and say to yourself, how can I do the end goal in the method that I feel comfortable doing? It's what we do with the baby steps, with food, with giving ourselves freedom, right? We don't do that with planning. We either just don't plan at all because we dread it so much and it's so overwhelming to us that we're like, I don't have time for that, which is silly because planning helps save you time. It's coming from an emotional place of like, I can't follow this structure. I suck at this. It's another kind of just beat down. If we figure out a way for you to plan in a way that feels more natural to you, it's similar to the kind of almost intuitive way things are with the way we eat, where it's not like we're sitting there and measuring cup by cup and stuff like that, because that's traditional planning, is the cup by cup measuring, and sucks. You're going to sit there and plan out for every 15 minutes in your friggin' notebook? Like, no, nobody could stick to that. How hard do we have? You see, I am very rarely on time, and I'm still an efficient person. I still get things done. I try my damnedest to be on time, but you know what? I roll with the punches. I can sit here and bash myself for being a few minutes late, or I could say, let's get some friggin' fire in this Zoom regardless, because here's rule number 1 with planning, okay? Concept number 1 for planning is, and I learned this from my mentor who runs like friggin' 15 different businesses and somehow has a life, but that is standard over schedule. Instead of thinking of it as, I have to do this at 8 p.m. tonight, you think of it as, I just have to get this done today, or I have to get this done this week. And you move around what you have to move around as the day goes on. I've taught you guys the Eat the Frog method already, and if you need a review, hell, sometimes I need a review. I don't know what the hell I ramble on for. But go to the page. It's the YouTube link for Eat the Frog video is there. It's hugely helpful for any of our newbies here or watching the recording. Definitely check that out. But what I mean is, having standard over schedule gives you the freedom to say, okay, I don't know what the hell's going on with my day quite yet. I have a busy day. So I don't know if I'm going to get home at 6. I don't know if I'm going to get home at 6:30. I don't know if I'm going to get home and have a burst of energy. I don't know if I'm going to get in and I don't even want to do anything but literally land in my work clothes on the couch, right? So if that's you, this definitely has been me in the past, you know that you're going to figure it out. That some point before bed, you're going to do something, okay? And you figure out what that something is. If you truly, because every person with a chronic illness does this, it's like we have this thing to prove where we have to do everything with full intensity every single day, no matter what. And if we have any free time at all where we're resting, it must mean that like we suck and we're like behind the 8 ball, right? No. Break up your stuff into smaller tasks and be real with yourself. There is nothing wrong with giving yourself some leniency. And there's nothing wrong, excuse me. And there's nothing wrong with saying, instead of avoiding this thing completely and waiting until it's almost due and it becomes crunch time survival mode to get this done, what's better? To put it off and be at that point? Or to break it into ridiculously small little steps each day, because that's still something to help you out as that deadline draws closer. You know, have your own back. You don't have to do everything perfectly. I hate that freaking word because I don't even know what perfect is. Like, what is, I don't know. Like, oh, great, you wrote this over elaborate schedule you followed to a T. You're probably a robot. Like, you know, you probably have like a staff and a lot of money if you can manage to follow a schedule to a T in 2019. We all out here hustling. So keep that in mind. The other thing is, if you ever catch yourself saying, I gotta, and this is an ADHD hack that I force myself through, because if I don't do this, I literally forget things. It's not intentional right away. Like, don't absorb it. So the minute the words I gotta leave your mouth, or that thought comes into your head, truly just be like, I'm going to put it in my phone. I put it as a reminder to remind me in 15 minutes again, or I put it in my calendar. I put it in my notepad, somewhere where it's not just up here. And I got to worry that from putting out one fire to the next, I have to keep track of that one thing I got to do. Of course, you're going to forget it. And then you're just going to feel like crap later on when you're like, oh God, I didn't do that. I gotta. So I gotta means nope, putting it in my phone. Okay. Or jot it down, bring sticky notes with you. I know a lot of ADHDers that they have sticky notes in their pocket. I'm like, you're just carrying around a bunch of other sticky notes you've written stuff on and a pen, and you're like, I don't know, but do what you got to do basically is the point, because we can definitely, oh, you should see behind my computer right now, Tabby. It is all sticky notes up behind there. This looks nice. You should see what's on that side. But anyway, I digress. So that's a pitfall. Get rid of that. Stop and take the time to reflect and plan. And anytime you want to say to yourself, I don't have time for that, remind yourself, we all have time. It's the overwhelm that comes with trying to manage that time that makes us feel like this overbearing load is on our backs. Okay. So taking a moment to just write, even if it's just illegible chicken scratch down about what you got to do later, is going to take that a little bit of that mental burden off of you, because it's not just floating around up here, like I just said. So stop feeling resentful of planning, of jotting down. I don't know if anybody struggles with this, but I thought to include it. Some people that I've encountered, and I've definitely been this way in the past, is I got almost afraid to plan in case I can't do it. You know, like in case if I jot something down, it becomes law. And if I don't do that, I'm bad. And it became an avoidant thing where it becomes, you know, planning is like such a chore because it's just yet another way you could not be good enough. So that concept, stop. When you start feeling that boiling, bubbling feeling where you want to think about how you got to get better at planning, again, stop and jot it down. Write something, not what it is so you don't forget. Write down how you're feeling. Write down what's important to you. I know it sounds nuts and you're like, how's that going to help me plan? It will, because you're giving priority to the things that weigh on you. We're in this to reduce stress. That's one of these puzzle pieces. So take the planning, even though it's not going to be law, take the concept of getting it from here out onto something as important or as seriously as you do tracking your carbs or thinking about your gluten or any of the stuff we do. It's all equally important to the puzzle. So if you stress because you feel behind the 8 ball, that typically means we didn't take the time to plan. And I get it. I usually have to wait until I'm like frazzled to be like, oh, that's right, I didn't plan today. So, don't feel like if you miss one day, you're like, I just can't get it. Make it a point to do it the next day. Say to yourself, today I didn't plan. I ran around like a chicken with its head cut off. So tomorrow, because I want to fix my stress, I'm going to make sure I do this. Don't just beat yourself up because it's not instinctive. It's hard. Okay. It's still hard for me to remember sometimes too. So, all right. I hope no kids are listening to this, but this is the most important point. Fuck the plan if things get crazy or you feel sick. It is okay. I know I said before, it's good to have some leniency, but fuck the plan. If you come home and you can't move, you're not bad for not wanting to sit there and get the 3 things you have on your list done. But what you should do, or what you could do to help you, is have a plan for those moments. You see any movie that has to do with some big, mission or whatever, hang on. You see any movie that's got a plan or a mission or some kind of orchestrated anything, right? There's always a plan B. If something goes wrong, they're like enact plan, blah, blah, blah. I'm obsessed with the show Money Heist. If you have not seen that on Netflix yet, you'll be hooked in one episode. It's it's fast. It appeals right to my ADHD heart. But anyway, if you get off track because you're not feeling well, you are, I hate to break it to you, human. And when you're not feeling well, you're not thinking about things as straight as you were before. And when you're not feeling well, you're not gonna want to get up and prep some crusts for later on that week. And it's okay. It's just as okay as having a freaking cookie if you're freaking out about having a cookie. This is what I mean. But you can plan for those moments, just like you can have frozen cookie dough logs in your freezer. You can plan for the days that you don't want to follow the rest of your plan. And that might be individual. So talk to me about that and I'll help you create a plan rather than eating up a crap ton of time on here. All right. But I just wanted to reiterate that it's not that you suck and are incapable. It's that you are, in fact, a human being. And we all get overwhelmed. Okay. Be flexible in your methods, but not in your goals. That goes back to what I was saying before about setting standard over schedule. Be flexible in your methods, but not in your goals. If you go one day and you see something doesn't work for you, don't be discouraged by that. Take that as important data to then use that for the next day and try to improve it. And it's okay if it's not perfect. It's okay if you do it and it's a dumpster fire the next day too. All right, well, you got to wake up the day after that anyway. You may as well keep trying to find that place of peace. Is this resonating with you guys? Tell me how you're feeling. Is this relatable? Is it a little bit of a relief? Because people think that I am I don't know if people think I'm a very organized and perfect person. You guys, I think, have known to grow and love my little bit of messiness. But I think people think I have it all together where I don't have to stop and be like, wait, what am I doing? I have to plan. Or wait, that's not possible. We got to change that plan up. I think people think that if I set out to do one thing, that I always just do that one thing. And it's just not the case, because I can beat myself up for sticking to a high standard I can't maintain, or I can still get done what I want to get done and do it in my way so I'm not pulling my hair out in the process. At the end of the day, it's still going to get done. Just not as, seamless and smooth as we think we have to be. So I hope that this is helping you guys. And I hope that you liked those of you who hopped on late, go back after I post the recording, because in the beginning I explained the balancing act that I was talking about in the chat. And I think you'll really like the beginning of here, because I'm pumped to start putting documents about that. So any questions? I want to open it up to you guys. You can either unmute yourself or you can type it. But anything you want me to elaborate on, or anything here that you're like, I relate to it, but here's my particular predicament, because maybe it'll help someone else to see us work through it. I definitely relate to not planning so that I don't mess up. Yeah, the perfectionism, like, it's very common with us because we have illnesses out of our control. So whatever we can or we think we can control, we become very, 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 like, what's the word I'm looking for? Nitpicky about it. And when we feel like it's something that is out of our control or that we can't do, we completely discard it if it's not something someone else is holding up against us. Like a boss, we can't really avoid things with them. Got to do what they ask. I guess the same with partners, whatever. But when it's just us, like it's just us sitting down to put it in our notebook or, to do anything, and we feel like I can't do it, who would know if we just avoid it? So it's hard. It's definitely hard. Makes so much sense. Much easier to understand when you put it that way. If you relate it to video games, makes so much sense. I'm a huge gamer. You got to teach me to know what the hell I'm talking about sometime, Caitlin, because I don't know anything about video games. Video games are sports. It's not my thing. Making lists and using the reminder app makes life so easy. Yeah, I'm like an overlister because otherwise I'm a dumpster fire. Nothing sounds more official than a plan B. I love that. Yeah, it's true. We plan for flare days with our food. We should plan for flare days with getting stuff done so we know we feel somewhat prepared, because it helps. Any tips for after you plan, are happy with the standards but are still worried, like ways to calm the nerves once you've done what you can for the day? So I relate to that a lot. And there's, with what I'm doing, and because it's just me, Olivia's been on vacation for 2.5 weeks and I am counting down the minutes until she comes back. But I feel like if I'm awake, I should be doing things. Like I have work to do because the work exists. I shouldn't have free time. I should just constantly be, and I work from my phone, so it's pretty freaking tempting to constantly be doing stuff. And I get it. I have to stop. I have to remind myself how important it is to not overdo it. How doing one more little thing tonight is not going to really impact me if I do it tomorrow, but I have to make sure I do it tomorrow. And I just keep reminding myself it's okay to relax. It's okay to relax. My trip, now, I know recommending a trip to Europe is in no way practical advice, but if I can relate it, what I learned on my recent trip to Europe, seeing people who are literally 98 years old driving mopeds and walking on the beach and enjoying life and being happy, even though they really don't have all that much, is that while we have bills that have to get paid and that stress is something that we can't always avoid, we have to reduce the stress we put on ourselves as much as possible, because I don't know, in the US, the life expectancy is 3 years under the average, like the international average of developed countries. So that says something about the effects that stress have on us. I think about how much more joy could be in life, because in not every moment we're awake is a moment we have to grind. Even if we work really hard and we feel like we're not getting anywhere with our bills or we're worried about money, grinding that extra half hour isn't going to make or break the bank, but it is going to make us a lot more miserable, which might make it harder to get what we got to get done tomorrow. At least what I try. I keep trying to repeat it to myself and forcing myself to be like, no, bitch, you've been working for 14 hours. Just put the phone down, I had a big wake-up call with that, where we all do. If you have an iPhone, you can check how much screen time you use per week. And I got this big, congratulations message. Well, not really, but to me it was. It was like, you've reduced your screen time by, I don't know, I think it was 20%. And I was still at 13 hours a day on my phone. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, no, not okay. So sometimes just reminding ourselves that it is perfectly fine and human and normal, that even if we're not in the spot we want to be in, that we can still take some time to just veg, that it'll make us more capable tomorrow. It helps eventually when you repeat it to yourself enough, from one workaholic to another. So I hope that helps. Please feel free to elaborate if it didn't, because this is awesome. I like this. Lists are my life. Scheduling time for myself at times makes me feel guilty. Yes, that guilt, especially for moms in here, and for those who have spouses who have different or significant others with different schedules, long distance, or, you know, you guys don't see each other a lot. Prioritizing time for yourself makes you feel like, does this mean I don't want to spend this time doing things for others? It's like you feel selfish for it, right? Or if you're like, well, I give so much of my day to work. Now I'm home. So even though I really want to just make my food for the week, watch TV, and knock out, I have to pretend to be interested in this conversation right now, even though I'm exhausted, because if I don't, I'm a monster, you know, or I want to focus on my health, but I haven't seen these people all day. What if they, like, you know, it's just, again, the unfair standard we put on ourselves. First, as women, let's be honest. Second, as women with chronic illness. It is us making ourselves feel that we have to do it all and be superwoman and not be sick. I gave this example to one of our other, members in here who has an inflammatory illness, inflammatory bowel illness. I said, if you broke your foot, would you expect your foot to heal as you continue to live your normal life? Would you expect to say, oh, it'll heal as I go? No, you'd stop. It would stop you. You'd have to heal the foot, and then you'd carry on with your day-to-day activities. But we feel that even though we're battling an illness, we don't really view it as an illness, especially because it's PCOS. It's not a broken foot, right? It's an invisible illness. We view that stopping and healing point as optional. And if we choose that option over doing for others, we're selfish. But don't you want to be your best for those people? You know, don't you want to feel like when you have a day off and you have the time to spend with them, that you can be present and enjoying every moment with them and actually not silently feeling miserable or battling your body? You know, think about it as an investment. The cheesiest saying, they're like, invest in rest. You know, it's true though. Invest in rest. It's super important. So I hope that answered your question and that was helpful. Any other insight that you guys want, or anything you want me to elaborate on before I hop off for the night? I love when you guys interact with me. I hope everyone got in enough water today. I didn't. I'm making up for it now before I go to bed. See? People just think I got it. Nope. I did not drink enough water today, but I will. I'll probably piss like 6 times before I actually go to sleep though. So I know for tomorrow that if I want to avoid that, I got to get my water in earlier. Okay, so if anyone's in the process of typing, I'm so sorry. Copy that before I close this out so that you don't lose everything you've been writing. And post it in the comments. I'm going to post this recording as soon as we hop off of here. Thank you guys for prioritizing and making it live. Those of you who are prioritizing and watching the recording, you're doing amazing too. I hope all of you are a little bit easier on yourself after this call, and you become excited at the concept of planning, because it makes life easier once you get it. And if you struggle, I want you to text me, not from the place of I suck, I don't know why I can't do this. I want you to text me and say this: can you please help me come up with a good schedule? Okay? Because I'll get texts that are like, I tried, I don't know why I can't get it, I don't know why this is happening, blah, blah, blah. Can you please help me come up with a schedule? And I'm your girl, and we'll do it. Okay? So enjoy the rest of your night. I love seeing you guys here. And text me if you need anything. All right? Bye.